All right, guys, have you ever blended colors out? You clear it and you immediately see your blend? I hate that. But that's what we're going to talk about on today's episode of Oli Oli Paint, so let's get right into it. All right, guys, so what we've got in the booth currently, it's currently flashing and getting sealer dry, is Subaru 61K dark gray metallic. I've got a repair here on the hood that I've got to blend this corner out. I have a new fender right here and I need to blend this door. I'm going to show you guys kind of how I go about making sure that my blends look good. Especially in waterborne base coats, this stuff covers so fast that it can be a real challenge to get it to blend properly. Your first biggest plan of attack is to make sure you make a spray out card of your color. I've got my color right here, 61K. Make sure that your match is as good as possible because that's going to give you the best chance to blend the color out. So yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get into my first process after this flash is done. And we're gonna use base coat blender, which this is just clear base coat, okay? So what this is going to do, I'm gonna do a coat on this whole hood and the whole door before I even put any color down. And I'm going to let it dry. It's going to level out the surface so I have a nice even surface. It'll kind of give it a little bit of a sheen to it, so I'll be able to really see what's going on. But we'll start with that, and then I'll kind of walk you through how I blend it, and then what I do at the very end, because there's one thing that I add that most people don't, and that's, yeah, I'll show you that at the end. All right, guys, so first things first, let's get a coat of base coat blender, or clear base coat, down on these two panels. We'll let that dry, and then we'll get into our color. All right. One thing to note here is when you're putting a coat of clear base down, depending on your system, don't go to the edge. As a good rule of thumb, don't go to the edge of your panel. I sprayed very, very light on this edge. Clear base can darken the edges, so it could throw your color match off. Even if you don't have base coat down there, just be aware of that. Do it really to the edge of your door handle. I've used this one enough to know that it's not going to affect that too much. So I don't usually worry about it at all, but it is something worth mentioning to you guys. Don't take it to the edge, especially if you're spraying solvent. Don't take it to the edge because it will darken the end of that. All right, so my base coat blender is totally dry. Because I am replacing this fender, I am going to blend this way as well. So you'll see me cover my sealed edge here, plus blend here, and then I'll take my color here. We'll see how this first coat looks after it dries, and we'll decide how far we really need to take this out. My spray out looked good, so really it's once the color is applied to the car, then you'll know for sure. So let's go ahead and get some base coat and get our blend started here and see what it looks like. All right, I'm gonna let that dry. I'll probably go grab my air mover and just blow some air over this, and we're gonna see how this looks. And I'll bring you guys in close and we'll take a look at it and just see what it looks like. All right, so far so good. You can see where our base coat has been sprayed, but you can also see that the metallics are jiving. So once I control coat this after my second coat, I think it's gonna blend out fairly easy. And as you can see, I didn't really go past the mirror yet. I stuck right in here, and you can see this thing's got dings all over it, but it is what it is. I'm gonna go ahead and get my second coverage coat. I might take it out just a little bit further. We'll dehydrate that, and then we'll control coat, and I'll show you the last little step that you can do to really be able to see this. Because right now it's like you look at it and you're like, I don't know. I don't know if that looks good, but just trust the process. I'll show you this. All right, let's do our second coat. Take it out just a little bit farther. Okay. All right, dehydrate that, have a look. All right, so far, everything looks pretty dang good. So it is slightly blotchy. That's par for the course with this kind of metallic. So I'll show you what this looks like right now. We'll control coat it and we'll smooth all of that out. All right, this is that second coverage coat. You can see slightly blotchy. That's all right. These grays can be a real big pain in the butt. My blend on the door looks good, so we'll go ahead, control coat this. It's gonna smooth all of that mess out. That blotchy stuff is really like what makes me get frustrated with waterborne bases, because if this was solvent, I could really just build my color up evenly. With water, it doesn't matter how even you spray it, it's just gonna look like this until it's control coated, as you've seen in the last video. And again, I'm gonna just drop a couple PSI, that's it for my control. Now let's do it, finish it up. Okay, looks pretty good there. As you've seen, I did cross coat it and double control that because it is like that Silverado. This is a very coarse metallic. It's the heaviest one we got, so that's why I did that process again. And again, just like that Silverado, that's why I kind of rainbow flared it out there. That looks pretty good to my eyes. So now what we're going to do is we're gonna fully let this dry. So I'll go ahead and do my other parts while this is drying. So once it's dry to the touch and I can rub my hand over it and it doesn't move, what we're going to do is a coat of clear base coat over that entire blend to be able to visualize and make sure that A, it's not blotchy, B, lock down this metallic so when we get clear coat on here it doesn't shift around and create more blotchiness. And C, any of that overspray that landed on that side, it's just going to lock that, it's going to lock that down so that way when I go to clear coat it, it's not going to just have like this metallic dust on that end of the panel. You can tack rag this, which I probably will, but the tack rag doesn't always remove all of that. Sand piling is what we call it when using water. It doesn't remove all of it, so a coat of base over it pretty much removes all of it. And my first coat of clear, I'm not gonna be worried about burying any of that. So we'll let this fully dehydrate, get nice and dry. We'll do a coat of blender over it, and we'll have a look and make sure that we're happy with everything. All right guys, so that's fully dehydrated. What I'm going to do now, I'm not gonna take this all the way to that edge. I'll probably stop somewhere in here. My whole goal is to use this as kind of a visual aid so I can see if my blend looks right, if I need to control coat it one more time. I'm just checking everything. So let's go ahead and do just a coat about 3/4 of the way across. That's probably good. And as you've seen, I stopped right about at the edge of that door handle. So now I'm gonna go ahead and let this dehydrate. I'm gonna get the rest of these panels done. I'll hit the flash cycle real quick, get it really nice and dry. We'll come in here, I'll use my light, I'll probably shut the booth lights off and double check it that way as well. So I'll bring you guys back once this is all dry, and I'll show you how it kind of glosses the surface up just a little bit, enough to be able to see if your blends look good or not. All right guys, this is pretty much dry. As you can see, all of that blotchiness went away. Here's our blend area. And the little bit of blotch that you do see is that clear base coat. It's so hard to catch this on camera, but I'm happy with this blend. In person, it's a lot easier to see what's going on. I promise you. Try this yourself, and you'll see for yourself that this does work. Same thing here. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'll show you guys again after I get this one cleared how nice and even and smooth this is, and that it doesn't shift around those metallics. So let me go ahead guys and get this job all cleared up, and then I'll turn you guys on and we'll take one final look at this thing and see how she came out. All right guys, here's the finished product. Everything blended out beautifully. I also, because we replaced the headlight, I also scuffed and cleared this one. As you can see, now this one looks brand new. All I did was prep that with 800 grit and gray Scotch-Brite. When I went to clear coat, I just unmasked it, taped around it, cleared it with the hood. If we come over here, and then obviously our door blend, everything looks pretty nice and smooth. I pretty much just kept it underneath this mirror. So nice, smooth, clean. See how nice and clean this is. You will see that dent? Like I said, this has some small dents, chips, but overall, this job is extremely clean. I'm probably not going to polish it. And then here are those other parts that I was talking about. I did not do a coat of blender over these, as they're just new parts. I wasn't worried about the blend, so yeah. All right guys, so that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope I had to talk about something today that you might not have known. Let me know in the comment section if you're gonna try this on your own work. And if you guys have any other tips or questions or whatever the case, let me know in the comment section. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok. I am on LinkedIn, don't really use that. I do have a Facebook page if you guys want to check that out. But yeah, I told you I'd upload more videos. I'm going to try my dangest to do 2 a week. So without further ado, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.